hard, don't need rest. No breaks when you're chasing success. You snooze, you lose, no redos. Only get one shot, there's no sequel. Have fun, love what you do. Live right, be your own individual. Stay sharp, play smart, this is your life. I don't know much, but I know you don't live twice. Don't waste it, yeah, don't waste it, yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Chrissy Morales here with Unsung Heroes. I'm here with a phenomenal young woman who is a philanthropist and a life coach and founder and CEO of BU in HD, Halimah DeOliveira. Hi Halimah.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
So Halimah, can you begin by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm the CEO of BU in HD. That's a transformational coaching company. And our vision is to empower all people to be their best selves. And the way that we do that is through webinars, info sessions, and online webinars.
Okay, and how did you begin doing that?
Everything that you do stems from an event that may happen in your life. So as a young woman growing up in New York City, I was teased a lot for wearing my hijab, and I went through a lot growing up in New York City.
Right.
And I graduated school, I was like 16, 17, I graduated high school and I went straight to college.
Wow, wait.
Yes.
You graduated at 16?
Yes, I was
Could
just
only
on the
wish.
cusp of 17. So
Wow.
basically you get pushed into a world that is an adult world, but you're still technically a little kid almost. And I was teased in college, and I think I lasted like 2 or 3 weeks wearing my
college
hijab
did you
in
go
college.
to?
I went to Baruch College in New York.
Oh wow, and they teased you because of this?
Because of my hijab, yes.
Wow.
So like about 2 to 3 weeks in, I said, you know what? And I took it off, and
no.
it remained off for 20 years. And the whole idea of BU in HD was being yourself no matter what that is. So your faith plays a big role in who you are. And I suppressed that for that whole 20 years.
20 years you
20
took it
years.
off. Now, what was your reasoning behind taking it off?
I didn't want to be the elephant in the room. I didn't want to be the person that as soon as you walked in the room, the conversation changed. And some of it is stuff that you think of yourself, but sometimes it really happens to where that's how the conversation twists. It twists to, oh, well, how, will we offend her if we say this, or should we not say this, that kind of thing.
And when you
Yes.
went to school, like, how did you feel about this? Because I know there's a lot of kids out there who do go through bullying,
I mean, I've had my hijab pulled off. So walking to class, I've had it pulled off.
That's terrible. Kids could be so cruel.
They can be so cruel, yes. I've had it where I've been in situations where, as soon as you walk in the room, there's a whisper, et cetera, et cetera. So just small things, but at the same time, they have an impact on how you relate to other people.
Now, tell us a little bit about your culture, because most people out there probably don't understand why you wear the hijab.
Okay. So, and that will probably segue into a little bit more about BU in HD, because
Yes.
I have a campaign that I'm currently running with
Oh,
BU in
good.
HD that talks about hijab. But the reason why we wear hijab as a Muslim is that we believe that covering our beauty, and that it only being for our husband and for our immediate family, brother, cousin, sister, mother, that type of thing, that's a form of devotion to God.
Okay.
So that's a form of us, saying, this is my devotion, this is what I'm going to give up, for God.
So when you put it back on, when was that striking point where you were like, I'm not going to listen to these bullies anymore. I am going to put my hijab on and follow, what you believe in. What was that point for you?
It happened in May of 2015. Okay. So I had, of course, thought about it before, because I was born Muslim and religion was a big part of what we did growing up. Everything that we did centered around going to the mosque or centered around something, learning the Quran, that type of thing. So in May of 2015, I went on a trip to Ixtapa, Mexico. And I stayed in a villa, and we were right on the ocean. And for whatever reason, I practice yoga. So I'm a yogi.
Oh, that's nice. I like yoga too.
So it was like a yoga retreat, and they had like a little space next door. So a lot of, every morning I went to yoga in the morning. It was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Really early.
Yes. So I would come back and I would just look at the ocean and just listen to the sound of the waves and that kind of thing. And one morning while I was standing there, I think it was like the second or the third day that I was there, I just had this strong like urge to like talk to God. And not necessarily that he would respond to me. I don't know,
Well,
depending on your school of thought.
Right?
Yes.
They say when you're in nature and you're in peace, that's when you can really talk to him.
And feel connected.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you that standing there in front of the ocean, I felt so connected to him.
Wow, that's beautiful.
To the point where, I don't know if it was my own voice, his voice, whatever, it said, it's time. The voice said, it's time. And
Amazing.
I knew exactly.
Look, you're giving me chills. You are giving me chills right now. That is so beautiful.
Thank
it really
you.
is. It really
And just from there, I went back to my corporate job. And it was probably about 2 months later, it was like July-ish, the end of July.
What was that corporate job?
I was at Verizon.
Okay.
I went to my job, and I remember being in a manager meeting, and I remember getting extremely hot. And I just looked to my right and just looked to my left. And the whole time from May until July, I just felt like I wasn't being my whole self. And I felt like I was hiding from the world. And that particular day in that meeting, I said, I can't live one more day like this.
Aww.
Really
that
and
is
truly.
So...
And I always have a notepad and a pen. And I remember packing up that notepad and the pen and putting it in my bag and leaving. And I never went back.
Wow.
And I spent the next 3 months praying and meditating. And after that came BUNHD.
And so that's what struck that moment.
Yes.
As soon as you put that, that covering back on, you were like,
as soon as I put it back on.
wow.
And I said, this is going, because I had done it before. I would tie my scarf in like cute little ways. But this was the one that I put the full hijab on, like you're seeing it right now. And I said, this is going to be the last day that I don't wear it.
And how old were you at this moment?
I want to say it was 37.
Wow, and then you were like, that's it.
This
is it.
This is
the moment that I'm going to keep going and
yes,
and be yourself.
Yes.
And is that what the mission, I guess, of BUNHD is?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So my mission is to empower and encourage people to be their best selves so that they can live their best life. I think that a lot of times what we do is that we try to fit into a mold, or we try to emulate other people, thinking that if we do that, that we're going to fit in. And then once we fit in, maybe we can start to be ourselves, and maybe they'll see us for ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that that's never going to happen. Go into whatever that scenario is, whatever that group is, and just be yourself. The people that you're meant to attract, the people that you're meant to be around will naturally gravitate to you.
I agree 100% with that. I've had so many people sit in that same position that just kind of gravitated towards me.
Yes.
I was never expecting, this show to kind of escalate, and it has. And there's amazing people doing great things like you. Now, what would you say is the steps that you take daily to make BUNHD successful?
Daily affirmations. I wake up every day not trying to top anyone else. I wake up every day just trying to top myself. Whatever I did yesterday, the next day, what can I do to do even better today? And I recite daily affirmations. And just so people know, daily affirmations don't necessarily have to be something that you're living right now. Like I say, I'm a millionaire. So millionaire can mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I believe in abundance. So millionaire could be that I have a millionaire mindset. I have a million friends. It could mean a lot of things. Of course, we want millionaire to mean something in the bank.
Right.
It could mean a lot of different things. So just things like that. So I'm a millionaire, entrepreneur. I am an international speaker. So just different things like that. The things that I aspire to be, not necessarily where I've been or where I'm at, where I'm going.
So how do you do that? You just chant it to yourself every morning and
Yes.
you say, this is what I am?
Yes, this is who
Wow.
I am, and this is what I am. I am who I say I am. And I stopped watching TV on that Ixtapa, Mexico trip. So
Really?
I don't watch TV. Yeah.
They say that TV can sometimes impact your mind.
Yes.
And, there is a lot of negative stuff out there. That's
Yes.
why Unsung Heroes is just phenomenal to me, because it brings out that positivity. It shows people to the world that there's people like you,
Yes.
people like all the other guests who've been here
Yes.
that are willing to help others, and they
Yes.
want to empower others.
Yes,
Now,
and I love that it's on YouTube.
Yes.
Because I watch a lot of YouTube.
Okay.
So it's not that I don't turn on the TV. I'm just selective about what I turn on. If it's not positive, I'm not watching it.
Right.
And if it is not something that's going to grow me, I'm not watching it.
Right. And can you tell us how you empower others?
So basically, I talk to them about who they are. I talk to them about what would make them the happiest. So a lot of people walk around and they wear this badge of honor about what their title is. They may be the CEO of something, the president of something. But I go deeper and I talk to them about who they are really, or what do you like to do. So I like philanthropy. I like giving away everything. If I have $10, $9 of that will go away. I know I have to keep $1 so that I can eat, but I believe in sowing and feeding other people. So it's finding out what you love and what makes you tick.
What makes you you, right?
Yes,
that's
what
so
makes you
beautiful.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
you.
We'll be right back after this short break. Hey guys, this is Chrissy Morales here, the producer and host of Unsung Heroes, and I'm looking for someone like you to be on my show. If you think you have what it takes to be an unsung hero, email me at tvunsungheroes@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Unsung Heroes. I'm Chrissy Morales and I'm here with Halimah DeOliveira. Hi Halimah.
Hi.
So we were talking about BUNHD. Can you just reiterate to the audience what that is?
Sure. BUNHD is a transformational coaching company, and we help people and empower them to be their best selves and to live their best life. We do that through webinars, one-on-one sessions, and online coaching.
Now, what are some of the workshops that you've done already?
So the first one that I did was in January. It's called Envision 2017. And what that one did is it laid the foundation for what your 2017 would look like. So I had everyone that came, I had them pick 7 words of what they wanted in 2017. So I'll just give you an example. Mine were like love, build, coach, inspire. So everything to do with
nice.
BUNHD. Yes. And I had like travel, namaste. So everything that I wanted to accomplish in 2017. And then from that, what they did is they chose 3 action steps for each word of what they would do to make that come to fruition. And as the year goes on, we just talk about where they are in
those goals.
Yeah,
wow,
where
that's
they are
awesome.
with those goals. So
I've heard of vision boards before. I guess it's something similar to that, but more in detail.
More in detail, and I actually did a twist on it. So I did painting.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, they painted a silhouette of themselves because I wanted them to feel like they were a part of this process.
Right.
So not just putting up, pictures like on a vision board, but involving their physical bodies. So that helped with body image. So it helped, do I want to lose weight this year? If I do, I'm painting myself as I want to see myself,
Right.
not necessarily as I am. So just having them just envision where it is that they wanted to go. And I incorporated the whole mind mapping thing by having them put those 7 words.
I like that.
Yes.
I want to do that workshop.
I do plan to have that again.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
to
let me
kind of
know.
like
I'll
the next
definitely
steps.
go.
You got it. You got it. You
And what
got
were
it.
the other workshops you did?
Okay, so I'm on this Not Without My Hijab campaign right now. So the other workshops have been about that. And basically what Not Without My Hijab means is it talks about what the word hijab means. So a lot of people have sort of a misconception about the word hijab and apply it only to Muslim women.
Okay.
We're one of a few groups that have a physical covering over our heads. So that's where the word hijab comes from. But the word hijab can apply to a Christian woman, can apply to a Jewish woman, and even applies to a man. So it's basically the covering that God has over you. And I want people to really take a look at that whole idea and just realize that we are more the same than we are different.
Absolutely.
I just choose to wear a physical piece of fabric to kind of display what my devotion to God is. But it doesn't mean that someone who doesn't have a physical piece of cloth on their head, that they don't have, any more or less of a relationship with God. So
Absolutely.
just to highlight that. So that's what that whole Not Without My Hijab does.
I like
Now,
that.
I'm all about women's empowerment. So these workshops are for women. And when we come together, the whole premise is hey, Muslim woman, come and get empowered, but bring your non-Muslim or your non-hijabi BFF along with you so you guys can have fun. And I gave away hijabs at this workshop, and they had makeovers, they
that's
had
awesome.
henna tattoos. We really had a great time. And I
good.
had a poet and author there. Her name is Kashmir Mariam, and she really tied everything together. I told my story of hijab and just my own personal story, and then she just talked about how how hijab as a Muslima, how that looks, and it just all tied together. And then we had Q&A with the audience, and we had Christian people that were able to tell their story of hijab.
Wow.
And how easy or hard it is to practice their religion.
Yeah.
And
Especially, I've never seen a Christian with a hijab on.
Right. Well, we had one at this event.
Wow,
Yes.
look at that.
So I actually played a game with the audience,
Uh-huh.
and I had 3 women come up. There was a Muslim woman who does not observe hijab, so she did not have the hijab covering on. Then I had a hijabi. She had her hijabi covering on. And then there was a Christian woman that was dressed as if she were a Muslim woman.
Wow.
And I'll tell you the story. When I first met her, I thought she was Muslim, so
Yeah.
I greeted her that way. And a little bit into the conversation, she says, "I don't understand all of these words." So I said to her, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I thought maybe she was a new, convert to
Right.
Islam or something like that. And it ended up being, she said, "No, I'm Christian." So she was up there, and I asked the audience, I said, "Which woman is Christian?" And of course, they choose the one that doesn't have the hijab on. And of course, I let them in on the secret, and I said, "No, it's her." And then she told her whole story about how she wanted to display her devotion to God. And she wanted it to be that she was fully covered as a Christian woman.
That's beautiful. And it kind of crushes that stereotype too.
Exactly.
That not only Muslims can wear the hijab, anybody can.
Absolutely.
Depending on your devotion to God, that's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Now, what were the feedbacks you got from these workshops?
So I got a lot of great feedback, and so from the Muslima, she felt empowered when she left the workshop. She felt like, I'm going to be okay wearing my hijab. I have support, and it's okay for me to be my best self. I just happen to wear hijab. So that was the whole purpose of the workshop. The most poignant person at the workshop for me was an older lady. It was her birthday the day she came to the workshop. I want to say she was either 69 or 70, and she had 2 daughters. One had been Muslim for a long time, so she was fine. But then she has her younger daughter who had only been Muslim for 2 weeks, and she was wearing hijab. So of course, in the environment that we're in right now, in the climate that we're in right now, she was concerned for her younger daughter.
Yeah.
And at the end of the workshop, I spoke to her and I said, how did I do? And she was just like, if my daughter is going to be surrounded by people like you and the people in this room and be able to talk about her hijab and just be embraced, I'm going to be just fine. So
That's
that was
amazing.
awesome.
That's a beautiful, beautiful positive message.
Yes.
I'm sure that she just left there feeling, just empowered, and that's what you do. You
Yes.
empower people.
Yes.
Now, what are some things that you say you would love to see with BUNHD?
What I would love to see is I would love to see us, of course, go national, because right now I primarily serve the community in Philadelphia. So I would love to be able to travel to different states and spread this message. So I'm from New York City, so I'm working on hosting this same workshop in New York City. And basically for me, it's just an empowerment campaign, a love campaign, and just to bring people together so that we can have a conversation and dispel the rumors and the myths about hijab.
Absolutely. Now, do you think that have you ever gone through something that was like a difficult challenge but you were able to overcome it with BUNHD?
Probably the biggest thing was myself. And I think for a lot of new entrepreneurs, I think we get in our own way. And the biggest loophole that I went through was to just say, this is what I do. And to say that this company is about empowerment for everyone, but I have to put a little bit of a focus on the views and the points that are important to me. And hijab is very important to me. And I suffered through it. So I really want people to be able to connect and understand that although I've been through this, there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a great message, because there is a lot of people out there, like I said previously, that are getting bullied for the same things that you've been bullied through.
Yes.
And it's just amazing to see that there's someone out there, and there's not only you, but a community of people willing to help them and empower them so that they can continue being themselves.
Nice.
And what is the next thing that you see going on for BU and HD? I know you want to travel, but what is the next thing, I guess, as a company?
As a company, so right now I wrote a book. It's called Jenna's First Hijab, and it's for young girls 4 to 8, again, empowering them to embrace their hijab. Also, later on in the year, I have a book coming out. It's called The Unveiling, and it talks about 11 steps to reclaim your faith, and just how no matter what religion you are, that your foundation is your faith, and everything positive or negative that happens to you is kind of all centered around that. It's all
they have
right
to read the book to, to get the revelation there. And where can they find that book at?
They can go on my website, buyouinhd.com, and I'll spell that out. It's beyouinhd.com.
Okay, perfect. And then later we'll talk about, you know, where they can find you and stuff like that. If there was one message that you could really relate to the audience and give to them, what would you say?
Be your best self. Don't worry about what anyone has to say about you. The story that you have and the way that you tell it, only you can tell it.
That's right.
And that's what makes it so powerful.
I agree with that. We'll be right back after this short break.
And the goal is to be bold, be brave, and just be.
Welcome back. Now let's find out what makes an unsung hero.
One, two, work hard, don't need rest. No breaks when you're chasing success. You snooze, you lose, no redos. Only get one shot, there's no sequel. Have fun, love what you do. Live right, be your own individual. Stay sharp, play smart, this is your life. I don't know much, but I know you don't live twice. Don't waste it, yeah, don't waste it, yeah, don't waste it. Yeah, I don't know much, but I know you don't live twice. Wake up, kinda tired, but I gotta go. List full of stuff to do, full schedule, long day ahead of me. Work on my mental, wanna stay home, but the money is essential. Gotta get going, living in the moment, not slow, but I'm hoping that I bring a couple loaves home. I'm the breadwinner, even in the dead winter. Gotta help my fam out, never been self-centered.
Hi Halimah, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Yourself?
So Halimah, the audience has been dying to know, what makes you an unsung hero?
What I would say an unsung hero is that it's just a person who hasn't yet told their story. So they have a song or a story that they need to tell, and they either need to go through something for it to come out, or they need to feel empowered to tell that story.
Well, you're the first. That's a different answer right there. I was expecting something completely different. That's the first that I've heard that, but that is just amazing.
Thank you.
I believe in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because not everybody has told their story. That's why I love this show, so they can come in and tell their story.
Yes.
And who would you say is your hero?
I'm going to say Maya Angelou. And I'm going to say it for a lot of reasons, because she overcame a lot of different barriers. And I think through her poetry and through her writing, she was able to change the narrative. And that's my whole purpose for BU in HD, is to change the narrative of a Muslim woman and how she tells her story through business, and then also just for people to change their own personal narratives. And just because they started out on a road of becoming, say they're the president of a company, and that's what they are right now, that doesn't mean that they can't be that thing that they're passionate about.
Right.
They can turn it, they can turn.
And what are the steps that you're taking to help them get there?
So what I do is I, through one-on-one sessions, I coach them through finding out who they are, what's important to them, what do they love, even what they like to eat.
How does that and what they like to eat influence?
It could influence, have you traveled to the place? Have you gotten authentic food? Like if you like Mexican food, have you ever been to Mexico? If you like Italian food, have you ever been to Italy? A lot of times.
Two places I want to go.
There you go.
You're thinking, okay.
I'm intuitively doing that.
I'm getting a life coach right now.
There you go. But basically, when you travel to different places, you absorb that culture, and that becomes a part of you, and that opens you up to different ideas so that you can communicate and just be in a different way.
Yeah. So you go through life coaching with them. Is there anything else that you do with them?
I like to find out who they are personally as well, because a lot of times when they come to me and they ask business advice. Well, how do I change this, or how do I change my career? But I think a lot of who the person is, we need to get to the bottom of that first. A lot of times when people are in their careers, like my customer is 36 years old, between 36 and 45. So that's my target customer.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're transitioning in their career to something else. And sometimes they think, okay, well, maybe I'll just change my career. And that's not necessarily where they should be headed. They're looking for a change, but they want to feel more fulfilled in their life.
Right.
So I help them to uncover what that thing will be that fulfills their life.
That's amazing, because a lot of people need that.
Yes.
I mean, there's been through times where I needed it,
Yes.
friends needed it, they're just not fulfilled with themselves.
Yes.
But it's good to take those steps.
Yes.
Now, what were the steps that you did to become a life coach? Because I'm very curious to know.
Sure. So, I mean, life coach, of course, life is where I where I pull a lot of my information and my knowledge from. But I have taken a course in life coaching to become certified life coach.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, thanks.
Did you do that online, or you
Did
go
it
to school?
online.
Okay.
I did it online, and I would like to take more courses just so that I'm always coming from a place of knowledge. I'm always coming from a place of, okay, I did learn about this, so it's not just my own personal story and me bringing that to the table.
I like that. That's awesome. I mean, and there's always room for improvement. I always like that. Is try to be the best of yourself and keep growing, because there's always room for growth. Now, Halimah, where can the audience find you if they're interested in, not only connecting with you for a life coach or for BUNHD, but personally?
Sure. So my email address is Halimah, so HALIMAH @BUNHD.com. Okay. They can also find me on my main social media. So I love Instagram. It's my main vehicle that I use, and that's @BUNHD. Okay. And they can also visit my website to find out what I'm doing next. I am active, so I want to make sure that people can always find me, and that's at BUNHD.com.
Wonderful. Make sure you guys go out and follow her. Halimah, I have a surprise for you. Really? You have just been such an inspiration to not only women, but just the audience and everyone out there. And on behalf of Unsung Heroes, I would like to honor you with the Unsung Hero Award.
Oh, that's
Congratulations.
awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh,
That's
you're
beautiful.
welcome. It's been an honor having you here. Just being able to converse with you has empowered me and just enlightened everyone here. Can we give her a round of applause, everyone?
Yay, thanks. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Chrissy Morales with Unsung Heroes. So you know what time it is now, right?
Yeah.
It's selfie stick time. Woo!